It's a Friday where Kenya has taken its first gold in the World Under-18 Championships happening in Kasarani. Hope you're going there to support our young athletes, but this is football time. This is the odds with me, Ida Waringa. Very good evening to you. I am joined by my two pundits here. It's Steve Njuguna and Twiga News Fred Arocho, filling in for James Situma, who's currently away on duty. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff, guys. So as we like saying here, shilling one is always twice as sweet as a shilling. And we want to hear from you. Our question of the day that we have been asking you on our social media. Arsenal will be facing Bayern Munich in an upcoming preseason friendly. Do you think they'll be able to avenge last season's disastrous performances? Talk to us. Arsenal will be taking on Bayern Munich. That will be next week. It will be in Asia, guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in Asia. So they will be taking on Bayern Munich, their best friends in the Champions League. We'll see whether they'll be able to avenge their horrible performance last year. So talk to us. Let us know. Who do you think will take that? Talk to us. The numbers you're seeing is 0711046444. Use the hashtag the odds KE, that is the odds Kenya, and I will be able to have a look at some of your comments. Let's get straight into it. Manchester United are currently in the US on their preseason tour on what's actually a very busy schedule for them, and they will be facing LA Galaxy. That will be on Sunday at 2:20 p.m. Thank God it's a time that a lot of us can be able to catch the game. So very quickly to you, Arocho. All eyes, of course, undoubtedly will be on the 75 million man, Romelu Lukaku. And I know Steve is already smiling. We'll get to him in a bit. But how do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll even play in this?
Yes, I'm expecting him to make his debut in this match. Basically, the preseason matches are normally experimental matches. These are matches that we expect a lot of substitutions. So I'm expecting him there. I'm also expecting Victor Lindelof to make his debut in the Manchester United side. Well, it's evident that there are going to be a lot of substitutions, as I said earlier, because Jose Mourinho earlier talked about De Gea starting in goal, and then perhaps in the second half we'll have Joel Pereira to come in for the last 45 minutes. So basically it's a game where you have a feel of your players. You really need to blend and get to your seasons going. And this is the reason why I'm saying I'm expecting Manchester to win this match, regardless of the fact that it might not really count as far as points are concerned, but it will help them psychologically for the new season.
Definitely, and it'll help for the team to gel. Some new players, Steve, as you're hearing Arocho pointing out, the likes of Lukaku, Lindelof. Your thoughts on these players?
Well, of course, my biggest mention will be, of course, Romelu Menama Bolingoli Lukaku.
Yes.
And the Belgian striker. Personally, I am not a Manchester United fan in any way, but I am a big Lukaku fan.
I think the whole world knows that.
Yeah, and I think it will be great to see him on the pitch. But we also look at some other aspects of preseason that maybe people don't think about too much. This is also good for the younger players, the academy players who are coming up through, because this is an opportunity for potential, because most of them are planning on going on loan deals. This is an opportunity for potential suitors to look at them, and whoever Jose Mourinho will decide to play, he might have to want to impress the club he wants to go to.
Yeah, speaking of impressing Jose, some young players, as you're mentioning, also maybe some out-of-favor players, the likes of Luke Shaw. Injury just ruled him out for a large part of last season, also ruled him out of Jose's mind. Do you think he can use such opportunities to maybe appeal to the coach?
Yes, it's an opportunity to appeal to the coach. As you've said, players who have been injured, players who have not been playing much of the season will have an opportunity to try and showcase or even try to convince the coach to be giving them an opportunity to play. Basically, other than the fact that these matches are normally organized for exhibition and trying to sell your apparels, it also gives the players an opportunity to, the ones who have not been playing, or even players who have come in to try and give a good account of themselves.
Okay, and what's the news coming out of the LA Galaxy camp right now, Steve?
Well, you look at some of their more experienced players, such as Robbie Keane, might possibly be a doubt. Remember, Robbie Keane is somebody Manchester United know very well. He scored against them when he was both at Tottenham and also at Liverpool. So they might not want to see him that much. But aside from that, the squad is in full frame. Remember, they're still continuing in their season, so they'll be much sharper than Manchester United. And I think this is one thing that Jose Mourinho ones to count on. Remember, we saw yesterday Everton against Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia were a bit more sharper, especially in the first half, because they've played more football in the recent weeks, and that's what helped them put up a good performance.
All right, and speaking of LA Galaxy and ex-Man United players, they're no stranger, of course. The likes of David Beckham, Arocho played there some years back, and of course, quite coincidental that within this time is when a lot of rumors of Zlatan Ibrahimovic joining the club are arising. Do you think he's going to go?
Well, he might be let go because I'm not seeing him really playing. I'm not seeing him being instrumental in the upcoming season as far as Manchester striking force is concerned. But as you've said, these are two teams which are sharing a lot of history as far as players switching from one side to the other. David Beckham is one of the players that really brought a lot of revolutionary aspect as far as the United States football is concerned. So he brought in a lot of, they normally use these players to bring in fans into the game, and as you put it earlier, it is another avenue for them to feel exactly how the team is progressing. So the movement of players might even bring a lot of excitement in this match as far as fans or even the viewership is concerned.
Okay, we'll see about that. Let's have a look at the recent form. Maybe we can start off with Manchester United. Of course, when we talk about the recent form, Steve, it's actually the recent form in regards to last season, the last few games of last season, because of course the team hasn't quite played in the last, maybe a month or so. Of course, their last game being that famous Europa League win over Ajax. Take us through the rest, Steve.
Yeah, you speak of the Europa League in glowing terms. Anyway,
let's see what Arsenal will make of it next season.
We'll get to Arsenal. The win against Ajax, of course, and the win against Crystal Palace on the final day. The draw against Southampton. A draw is not something Manchester United is very foreign to. The loss against Tottenham in Tottenham's last game at White Hart Lane. Mugubi scored a header there. We remember that very well. And of course, the draw against Celta Vigo in the second semi-final. So I think, judging by the strength of these games, I think it's not something you can put a solid basis on. Because in between there, they've been something like 2 months. There've been a few personnel changes, and probably Mourinho has even been working on something different in terms of formations. So this first pre-season game is very crucial for us to see what they've actually been doing behind the scenes.
It's very important, and I do agree with you. This is just basically for record's sake, but we can't really base their current form on those particular statistics. But maybe it's a bit fresher for LA Galaxy. Let's have a look so that we can be able to gauge them on their last 5 games. They are currently in the midst of their season, so they're looking a bit sharper, I would think. Let's have a look at LA Galaxy's last 5 games, please. All right, we'll have a look at that. But yeah, based on what Steve is talking about, maybe we can just also have a look at the head-to-head. As we always like saying, Arocho, maybe history can set a bit of precedent on how these two teams have faced off in the past. Let's have a look at that, please. So actually, just once, these two teams have played and United have taken it. Arocho.
Yes, the match I talked about in 2014 when Manchester thrashed Galaxy 7-0. Other than that, as it's ably put up there, they've not really played together for long. And basically, when two teams from 2 different continents, more so a team that is not really featuring well within its continental assignments, might not really have an opportunity to meet, because Manchester, yes, they've tried within the European circles. They normally do well within the Champions League. But look at Galaxy when they play in their continental club assignments. They don't really play well. So that's perhaps the reason why they've not played for long, because the other tournament that they might play together is the continental assignment, where each winner of the continent come together and eventually we get the winner. So that's perhaps the reason why they've not played many matches together, other than the exhibition matches that they played, the exhibition match that they played in 2014.
Yeah. And actually something about this particular coming maybe 4 weeks of Manchester United, because it's very funny and ironical. The last season, Steve, Jose was all talking about a fixture pile-up list. And then in the coming maybe, I think it's 24 days, they're going to play 8 games in 8 cities in 4 different countries. Surely, will this really help or hurt the team?
I think it'll help because it's pre-season.
Okay.
When you look at it from the context of pre-season, then maybe it becomes more understandable, because the players, some of them have been holidaying in Ibiza, others have been in Kibandas all over. And the fitness is gone. The fitness is gone, believe you me. So those 8 games, he would want the first 2 or 3 games to weed out the mistakes, to weed out all that fitness, to remove the beer from their bellies. And the 3-4 games, the third, fourth games, to get them in tip-top physical shape. And the last few games, to judge how his squad is, so that he can safely say, going into the season, going into the first game of the season, my squad, I think, is at 90% level to compete.
Perhaps things might have gone haywire. But when you are in a pre-season, you have the laxity to try and try different system, different players here and there, and also to give, as we said earlier, the players who didn't have opportunity to play, the players who are coming in. So I don't think that it will overstretch them. It will just give them more confidence getting into the season.
And more fitness.
Yes, definitely.
Let's have a look at the odds, guys. It's Manchester United taking on LA Galaxy in a preseason game. It's 1.32 for the Red Devils to take it. It's 4.51 for a draw. And it's a whopping 6.14 for the LA Galaxy players to win it. So what do you think, Steve? Who's going to take this one?
I think it's going to be taken by Manchester United because of Lukaku.
Simple.
Simple.
It's just Bolingoli with you.
I mean, for me, I think I'm biased. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord. What about you, Arocho?
Well, I'll go with him. I'll say that Manchester will carry the day. They will carry the day because of the various reasons that I alluded to earlier. The fact that they're bringing in new players, the fact that Jose Mourinho, being a very strict coach, he won't like to lose Mosso in his first preseason, and as towards the end of the preseason. And it has been evident in the various teams that he's been a coach. In Chelsea, he made sure that he won 6 of his last preseason matches before he left the team. So basically, he really needs to win.
All right, so my two pundits both agreeing on the fact that the Red Devils will take the day. So let us know what you think. The number is 0711046444 on this game and the other games we're talking about, as well as our question of the day. Do you think Arsenal will beat Bayern when they meet next week in a preseason friendly? Let's quickly move over to internationals now, more specifically the CONCACAF, where Panama will meet Martinique. That will be at 11:30 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, July 15th, in their CONCACAF Group B game. Your take on how this will go very quickly, Steve?
I watched Panama play against USA, and they played a very, very solid game, managed to get a 1-1 result, which I think against the US of A is a really good result. Martinique have been struggling, but they also beat El Salvador 2-0, and they also managed to get a few goals against the USA. So this will not be easy, but Panama for me are a bit more of the favorites because they have a more stable attacking lineup.
All right, let's have a look at their last 5 to gauge on their recent form, more specifically in this tournament. So maybe we can start off with Panama's last 5. Let's have a look at that. Draw, looking like Manchester United, and then 1 win, Arocho.
Well, the two teams have really been struggling as far as defending is concerned, also in the Gold Cup. But I'm looking at a Panama side that is going to put a lot of force or a lot of effort to try and win this match. Kevin Peresmain is their main guy up front, and I'm expecting him to convert goals in this match. But going through the last 5 matches these two teams have played, you'll realize that it's only one match that has been won by Panama, if I'm not wrong, and the rest have been draws. But this is a match that has more to lose than more to gain when you win than when you draw, because it is a group stage match, and I'm expecting Panama to excel. All
right, what about Martinique? Let's have a look at their last 5. How have they been doing in this particular tournament? Steve?
Well, they lost to the United States in that 3-2 thriller game, but they won against Nicaragua, which might have given them hope. So right now, I think this is a group decider, probably for who will take the second slot, or who will even take first slot, because so United States record, they have also won 1 and drawn 1. So basically, Panama, Martinique, and United States have a 3-way battle in their group to see who will take top spot and second spot and qualify to the next round. So it's a very crucial game.
Very crucial, all-important game here. They're currently 2nd and 3rd in that Group B in the CONCACAF. As Steve is saying, it's actually all wide open, even for the first position. So let me give you the odds. It's 1.60 for Panama to win it. It's 3.56 for a draw, and it's 5.16 for Martinique to take it. Panama is what what Arocho is going with. Any scoreline, Arocho?
It will be a very mean scoreline. Another reason why I think Panama will carry the day, they're not having any injury worries into this match. So basically, they have a full strength team, which for sure is going to carry the day.
All right. What about you, Steve?
I think I'd play safe and put 1 or X.
Okay.
Because I think Panama has more than enough, as Orocho has said, in terms of attacking. But Martinique has shown that there are no pushovers. They pushed US, the US was 2-0 up. They got to 2-2 before US scored the winner and ended the game at 3-2. This shows a fighting spirit. And they're not going to just say, you know, Panama has the technically better players and lie it down. So there is a slim chance of a draw. But the odds look a bit in favor of Panama. So 1 or X for me.
Okay, Steve playing it safe. Arocho just going straight killer. But on that note, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have a look at yet more fixtures. We're delving deep into the preseason friendlies. And we'll have a look at more of those odds. Don't go far.
Schooling, go. Freestanding orders plus enjoy Kenya's highest earning rates of up to 8.5%. Visit any KCB branch now and open a KCB Gold Savings account. KCB Bank. Go ahead.
The National Super League is not for the faint-hearted.
Kama wewe si mwanaume sidhani kama unaweza cheza, ni ball ngumu sana.
Playing the NSL is more difficult than playing in the Premier League.
With the largest number of clubs in the land, only those with experience achieve.
Nimeenda Ujerumani, nimesoma mpira.
And I've done my diploma in Brazil.
With the largest pool of talent, only those clubs with strategy win.
When people run headlines that say KCB vaults raided and they are referring to the football club being relegated, that sounds off. So we had to clean it up very quickly.
With diverse ambitions, only those clubs with a vision thrive.
We'll be listed on the stock exchange. We want to have our own stadium.
Don't miss NSL Club Life only on Bamba Sport.
When it's Monday night, then it's time for much-awaited football banter.
Well, look no more.
Get all the goals, in-depth analysis, and the latest news in the world of football.
Join me, Ida Orenga, every 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Monday Night Football, right here on Bamba Sport, the home of true fans.
The National Super League is not for the faint-hearted.
Kama wewe si mwanaume sidhani kama unaweza cheza, ni ball ngumu sana.
Playing the NSL is more difficult than playing in the Premier League.
With the largest number of clubs in the land, only those with experience achieve.
Nimeenda Ujerumani, nimesoma mpira.
And I've done my diploma in Brazil.
With the largest pool of talent, only those clubs with strategy win.
When people run headlines that say KCB vaults raided and they are referring to the football club being relegated, that sounds off. So we had to clean it up very quickly.
With diverse ambitions, only those clubs with a vision thrive.
We'll be listed on the stock exchange. We want to have our own stadium.
Don't miss NSL Club Life only on Bamba Sport.
Welcome back. You're watching The Odds with me, Ida Orenga. I'm here with my favorites. It's Steve Njuguna and Fred Arocho, Twiga News himself. Our question of the day is, do you think Arsenal will beat Bayern Munich next week when the two face off in a preseason friendly? Of course, that 10-2 mauling last season, Steve, was nothing to joke with. Maybe the Arsenal fan in you will be hoping that you can pull off something next week. We'll see about that. Kind reminder that what we're talking about today is not actual Premier League games, English Premier League games. It's pre-season friendlies, and we do want to hear from you. So 0711046444 is the number to call. So the next game is Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. That will be happening next week as well, 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Steve, I'm telling you, these games, Arocho, they're happening at such good times and hours for us Kenyans back here to be able to watch it. So Liverpool already got down to a very good start. Steve, tell us about that mid-season, or rather midweek pre-season friendly.
Well, they played against Wigan Athletic, and it was good. Some of their French players managed to get on the score sheet. People like Marco Grujic, and is it Grujic or Grujic?
It's so weird because some people say Grujic, some people say Grujic, and some people say Grujic. It's weird.
So let's just say Marco.
Yeah.
He got on the score sheet. So it's good to see this, and I think Wigan is always a good team to test yourself against. I remember also last season Manchester United had their first pre-season game against Wigan. So it's good for you to test yourself against people, let's say, in the same municipality. But on the broader scale of things, Liverpool have actually not been resting too much. Apart from Emre Can, maybe, who's been in the Confederations Cup, most of the Liverpool players went for only a 2 or 3 week break and came back. And remember that even after the season, just 1 week after the season, they were in Sydney to play a post-season match, which of course Klopp used as preparation for the new season. So technically they've been on pre-season all along, and it's going to be interesting to see how they'll play against Crystal Palace, a much stronger side than Wigan.
Yeah, it will be quite interesting, Arocho. A healthy Sturridge and Henderson was quite refreshing to see in that midweek game. Hopefully they can maintain it.
Well, it's a good start, and I normally like seeing teams that didn't perform well in the league starting their pre-season quite well. And as he ably put it, the match they had against Wigan was a match that, as I said, it will give them a push psychologically, because they didn't do well towards the end of the season of the English Premier League. And as we've realized, the new players who are coming in are trying to show that it was not a fluke for them to be perhaps picked into the team. So I'm expecting fireworks in the match that is coming up against Crystal Palace.
All right, good stuff. We have some calls coming in. Let's get one in. Hello there. Hello, what's your name?
I'm Eric.
Yes, hi Eric. What's your comment or question?
When will be the Premier League starting?
The English Premier League. Okay,
Yeah.
the English Premier League starts August 12th, Steve? Yes, the English Premier League will start on August 12th. That will be a Saturday. Thank you so much for calling. Let's get in another call. Hello? What's your name? Hi there. All right, let's take another one. Hello? What's your name? All right, the connection not too good there. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Isaac Jorogen.
Yes. Welcome to the show, and please reduce the volume on your TV set as you tell us your comment or question.
Okay, I'm calling from Vita.
Yes. All right. A bit more audibility would have helped, but thank you so much for calling nonetheless. Arocho, I do believe you were telling us something, or were you done actually?
Yes, I was just talking about the match, and as I was saying that I'm expecting a cracker. These are two teams that are quite familiar with the English Premier League, and they would like to start with a bang in their as they move towards the beginning of the season. Crystal Palace changes here and there, and they'd like to see the effects of the changes, and Liverpool also bringing in new players, and I'm sure the Liverpool fans would like to see this season as their season, because last season perhaps it was a season for them to try and put things together, try and gel together, try and have some formation and systems up and running, but they believe that this is their season, and I also believe that this is a season for Liverpool.
All right, we'll see about that. Changes that Arocho is talking about. Some of these changes include Mohamed Salah going to Liverpool, yet he didn't feature. What happened?
I think it's also sometime a marketing ploy, because everybody wanted to see the Wigan game, to see Mohamed Salah play. Probably the same thing for Manchester United. Everybody is waiting to see Menama play tomorrow.
Yeah.
But for this for Salah, probably the coach was thinking, let me wait for the Crystal Palace game, or maybe physically he's not up to it yet, because remember Roma, their league ended 2 weeks after the English Premier League in Italy, so probably he was given an extended break.
So it wasn't
after signing.
It wasn't the work permit issues that they were trying to bring about.
I think pre-season friendlies and work permit is not always such a big deal. Work permit, I think, is a big deal when it comes to the league. Pre-season friendlies, I don't think it brings such a huge problem. So I think maybe the coach might have seen him and said, let me give you 2-3 more days on the training ground. Work some of that sweat off. He went to Egypt and took some Egyptian delicacies.
Yes.
And let me make you sweat them off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we can put you in against Crystal Palace.
All right. I do believe maybe we can forego the last 5, seeing as the last 5 of these two teams is coming into last season. I don't think that features much or will give us a very good basis of this. What we can have a look at instead is the head-to-head. Let's have that up on screen. These two teams have faced off quite a number of times, as you're seeing there. 36 times to be correct, Arocho.
Yes, 36 times, and you realize that Liverpool have won 19, and their counterparts, Crystal Palace, have won 10. They have 7 draws, each 7 draws apart, and as it's looking up there, Liverpool has a lot of chances, going by the history of the two teams playing together. Liverpool has an upper hand, and as I said earlier, it all goes to the kind of recruitment, the kind of team that you have in your squad, and this is what will count when these two teams are going to meet, and perhaps to start marking your territory within the upcoming season, because the way you start your season will really dictate how you progress and eventually how you finish your season.
Quite a good point from Marocho. Their territory marking needs to start, and it needs to start early. The odds are looking like this for Liverpool taking on Crystal Palace. It's 1.45 for the Reds to take it. It's 4.01 for a stalemate between the two, and it's 3.98 for Crystal Palace to take it. Very quick predictions from you, Steve.
I think it's going to be a draw, probably, because remember Crystal Palace have their new manager, Frank de Boer. So he wants to implement some of these tactics in there. He wants to do some new things. So I don't think it will be a game in which both managers will be going in to win exactly. Of course, winning is good for confidence, but this is a game for more of them to work on tactics and to see what type of players they'll play in the Premier League, because this is essentially a Premier League level tie. Both teams, Jurgen Klopp with some of his new players, Frank de Boer with his whole new team and his whole new mentality.
All right, we'll see about that. What about you, Atrocho?
I'm seeing a 2-1, Liverpool winning, a goal. Well, someone might ask, why am I sure that there'll be goals? As he said, the two coaches, I would really like to see how their firepower up front is going to work, but Liverpool will edge Crystal Palace with their 2-1 score.
All right, let's move on, guys, to the Manchester Derby. Only that this time it won't be happening in Manchester. It's a preseason tour between the two teams that will be happening in Houston, Atlanta. Arocho, that's where you are, right?
Yes, this is where I was, close to 23 hours from Nairobi.
I know you're wishing that you were there.
Yes,
next week for the Derby.
I watched Panama playing United States. And basically, this is the very stadium that these two teams are going to play. It gives me a lot of, it reminds me a lot of where I was. Though the kind of weather currently in Atlanta is totally different. I believe that the match is going to be played at night, but during the day it's quite hot, and even football cannot be played. But all said and done, the two teams, the derby being carried from Manchester to Atlanta is something quite recommendable.
I know Steve is feeling quite familiar feelings right now. You know, Situma is always sitting there talking about, hey, you know, I was in Ghana, I was in Hull. He's sort of feeling like it's Situma reloaded. But we've already had a look at Manchester United. So let's shift our focus to Manchester City, who already have a lot of new players. How well do you think they'll do in this particular preseason?
I think it will be an interesting game. Remember, last preseason it was supposed to happen, but because there was a bad pitch in Beijing, it didn't happen. So it's good. I think it's probably something that the sponsors wanted followed up from last season and to be completed this season. And I think Manchester City have signed basically almost a whole new team. and we'd want to see how they'll perform. The likes of Ederson as a goalkeeper. Bernardo Silva, I don't know if he'll be in that squad, considering he was only recently in the Confederations Cup. But we'll want to see some of these players, and also some of the older players from last season who are beginning to catch fire at the end of the season, the likes of Leroy Sané, the likes of Gabriel Barbosa. This is a bigger chance for them to now stake a place, try and get a place into the first team setup of Pep Guardiola.
All right, let's have a look at their head-to-head, because the two teams have played 150 times. United only winning 49 of those, City winning even less, 44. What's been majority there are draws, 47 draws as you're seeing there. Rocho, does this give us any sort of gauge to know maybe how this game will be?
Yes, it gives us, and you realize that it's more or less the same, 49, 44, 47, 47. It's more or less the same, and this match has a lot of history behind it. Remember the Manchester bomb attack that happened some few months ago. These are two teams are going to have some sort of a charity. The amount that is going to be raised is going to be used as far as that tragedy is concerned, and they're going to have some special badge on their t-shirts just to try and remember the tragedy and the various Manchester citizens who are lost in that tragedy. But all said and done, the tragedy aside, it's going to be classic football. It's going to be good football, because these are two teams that claim to be the real Manchester. Manchester United to be the real Manchester Kings, and Manchester City to be the real Manchester City Kings.
More like Manchester United maybe at the Kings and Manchester City at the small princes. Some would argue it like that. But guys, let me give you the odds. It's 2.71 for the Kings, or maybe let's just put it as Manchester United to take it. It's 3.28 for a draw, and it's 2.35 for the Citizens to take it back in Houston, Atlanta. So based on this, Steve, how are you seeing this one going?
Well, before I say my prediction, I'd first like to say this is a season of derbies being exported into foreign countries. Chelsea versus Arsenal, a London derby in a foreign land. Manchester City, Man United. And most recently back home, Gor Mahia and AFC, who were exported to Dar es Salaam. So I think it's a good thing for derbies to be out of their natural habitat. Aside from that, I see like this is a game that Mourinho typically would want to win. And Pep is not always big on pre-season. I think Pep usually wants to do his work on the training ground. For him, pre-season is a little bit of a formality. I remember last season, he was very angry at the Americans because they played rough to his players when he was at Bayern. And he didn't even shake the coach's hand. He hates these games. So I think Manchester United will take this game more seriously and ultimately go with the title.
But surely with the rivalry that's there between Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho, I would expect that Pep would also field a somewhat relatively strong squad, Arocho.
Yes, that's true. Unlike what he's saying, I'm looking at a Manchester City side coming even more stronger into this match because of the various reasons. One, the kind of rivalry that you see within the two teams, the two coaches. So I'm not expecting Pep to let lose his team. He's going to put up a very strong side. And unlike what he's saying, I'm going to go with Man City. I'm seeing Man City winning this match to try and stamp some authority before the season begins.
All right, territory marking and authority stamping is what we're talking about right here. Let's take another short break. We'll be having a look at the multi-bet next. Don't go far.
They say life is a game and people the players.
Siku nikimgonga siendelee na game. Naenda nafanya shopping yangu mzuri ya nyumba, nguo zangu pale Moi Avenue na kurelax.
Wakenya wana bet sababu ya pesa.
Youth saizi hawana chapa.
Pia jobs sai Kenya ukiangalia hakuna.
You can't win unless you play. But sometimes playing the game can be frustrating.
I only lost remaining 2 minutes. Nikapoteza 780,000.
But other times, the returns on investment can be life-changing.
Asubuhi kuamuka, nashangaa hii message ni ya nani? Kuangalia 43,000 niliweka hapo, sikuamini.
Be a smart investor. Never make the same mistake twice.
Siwezi bet nao, labda ni FC.
Arsenal imekuwa kinipatia pressure sana.
Before you place a bet, watch the odds with Aida Waringa on Bamba Sport.
are so many calls coming in. This is the odds right here on the home of true fans with me, Aidu Waringa. Let's start with those calls. Let's get one in. Hello there. Hi.
Hi to you.
Hi, please reduce the volume on your TV set. Thanks so much for calling. What's your comment or question?
Yes, I'm Cyrus from Kisii.
Yes.
Yes, I was asking,
Yeah.
when is the league starting?
The league is starting on Saturday, August 12th. So it's less than a month, I do believe, from now. The English Premier League is not too far.
I am an
All right. Thanks so much for calling. Let's get in another call. Hello there. Hi.
Hello, this is calling from Nairobi.
Yes.
Collins Alpha from Nairobi. I'm just making a comment between the game of Man City and Man U.
All right. What's your comment?
I believe that Man City is in a better form than Man U
All right.
because we have not seen so much challenges we have not seen so many changes in Man City compared to Manchester. Manchester have seen that Zlatan is going, Rooney is going, so
All
we
right.
believe that their format will be somehow totally different, and we believe that Man City is in the better form.
All right. Thanks so much for that. We'll touch on that very slightly. I do want to hear your comments on that particular caller. Let's get in another call. Hello. Hi there. What's your name? All right. And please reduce the volume on your TV set the minute you call in. Thanks so much for calling nonetheless. Let's get in another call. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Aringa.
Hi.
Hello,
How are you?
Aringa. I'm fine.
What's your name, sir?
Okay. My name is Nicholas Wachira.
Yes, Nicholas Washira. Where are you calling us from?
Okay, I'm calling from Umoja.
Yes, watu wa Umo. Tuambie basi.
So I wanted to contribute about the game between Bayern and Arsenal.
Yes.
And Man U and Man City, please.
All right. Very quickly, please.
So, okay, between Bayern and Arsenal, I think now Arsenal have the goal scoring machine, Lacazette.
Okay.
So they will carry the day.
Lacazette will score?
Yeah, and they will win.
You want Arsenal to win against Bayern Munich and get some revenge?
Yes.
All right. What about very quickly
to
what about very quickly to your comments of the other game was Manchester United, Manchester City?
Manchester City will carry the day.
All right.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much for calling. We do value your comments right here on the odds. Can we get in another call? Let's get in another call. Hello.
Hello, ni Ndidi kutoka Machakos.
Yes, habari yako?
Nzuri sana. Okay, mimi ni shabiki wa Arsenal.
Okay.
Hii game ya Arsenal na Bayern naona Arsenal hapo ita revenge.
Unaona Arsenal wakiingiza mabao mangapi?
Hapo Lacazette lazima aeke 2.
Lacazette aingize 1?
2, hata si 1 ni 2.
Oh, 2. Good stuff. Thanks so much for calling from Machakos. Okay, we will take in a few more calls later on, but let's actually get to what we're here for. It's the multi-bet. We can't start off with Steve. Steve, what was your multi-bet?
Well, I like mixing my multi-bets.
Your cocktail?
No, I leave that term to Situma. But for me, I think we had already discussed Panama versus Martinique, and for me, I thought a 1x result would be the best. Nicaragua versus USA. Nicaragua showed a lot of fight against Martinique, but they eventually lost. And USA is very, very shaky defensively right now, but they're getting the goals up front. Dom Dwyer is in terrific scoring form right after he decided to play for USA instead of playing for England. So he's been repaying the faith they've shown in him. And for me, I think USA will be able to pick that one and top their group in CONCACAF. Then I went to China. I've been watching the Chinese league a lot, I must confess, because of the influx of African players who've been going there. And we are seeing Beijing Guan face Guizhou Zisheng, home to Kenyan international Michael Olunga. Last game he was not even in the squad, and I think it's his coach's rotation policy, because I've seen in one game Olunga is not in the squad, the next game he's in the squad and he starts.
Okay.
So most likely he will start against Beijing Guoan, but they've been having so much terrible defensive problems. They lost to the bottom side of the league only 2 weeks ago, Yanbian Funde 2-1 in the game in which Olunga scored. So I think they'll not be able to contain Beijing, and if they do, if they do manage to get a result, it will only be a draw, considering that they'll be traveling away from home. So I think that one will be a 1x. Then finally, my last game was Malmo versus Sirius. This is a question of the number 1 team in the league, Malmo, facing a team that's also chasing some European ambition, Sirius, who are also have been ranking the whole season in the top 5. So it will be a tough game for Malmo. Right now, Malmo are even in 2 or 3 gears, because they've been announced their next opponents for the UEFA Champions League third place playoff, and that's a game happening in only 2 weeks. So it must be weighing in the back of their mind. So I think they'll take this game seriously, as they want to win it, so that they can stop thinking about the league and start preparing for the Champions League playoff qualifiers. But I also think Sirius is a strong team. That's why I think a 1 or X would be more suitable, considering Malmo are at home.
All right, so you're going for a safe bet between Malmo and Sirius. Let's move over to Arocho's multi-bet. He started us off with the CONCACAF, Canada taking on Honduras.
Canada needs only a draw to qualify for the quarterfinals of the Golden Cup. So I'm looking at their record so far, the way they've played, and I'm seeing them carrying the day against Honduras. This is a match that has a lot at stake, more so as far as Honduras are concerned. I'm looking at Alfonso Davies. I'm expecting him to be 100% for Honduras. He might be their hope to try and progress into the next edition. So that's why I stood with Canada. In the next match, Jamaica against El Salvador. This is another match, a qualifying match for both teams. Whoever wins this match will progress to the next edition. I stood with Jamaica, and it's simply because of how they've played in the Gold Cup. The next match, Dundee versus Wright. Well, I stood with Dundee. This is a league that, is relatively not quite prominent within our region, so not many people know about it. And then the last match, Nicaragua against United States. United States so far have won their 2 matches, though not convincingly going by their fans. They had a lot of complaints in the last match that they won. Their fans thought that yes, they are winning, but they're not playing the way they would like them to play. So I'm going by the home team, United States, because of the firepower. Yes, it has not started showing, but I'm expecting a lot of good game and them winning the match against Nicaragua.
All right, good stuff there. I would like to give you guys the opportunity to pick the loopholes in each other's multi-bet. Unfortunately, we do not have that time. I will be posting the multi-bets that they have selected on our Facebook group. Go to the odds, you will have a look at their multi-bet. You can engage us there as well. On that note, let's take another very quick break. We'll be having a look at the big one. It's Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich. It's a preseason friendly show, but for the Gunners, for the Gunner lovers and everyone else, they're looking for some revenge. We'll touch on that and dissect more when we get back.
The National Super League is not for the faint-hearted.
Kama wewe si mwanaume sidhani kama unaweza cheza, ni ball ngumu sana.
Playing the NSL is more difficult than playing in the Premier League.
With the largest number of clubs in the land, only those with experience achieve.
Nimeenda Ujerumani, nimesoma mpira.
And I've done my diploma in Brazil.
With the largest pool of talent, only those clubs with strategy win.
When people run headlines that say KCB vaults raided and they are referring to the football club being relegated, that sounds off. So we had to clean it up very quickly.
With diverse ambitions, only those clubs with a vision thrive.
Will be listed on the stock exchange. We want to have our own stadium.
Don't miss NSL Club Life only on Bomber Sport.
It's the odds, and we're loving the calls that are coming through. The number is 0711046444. The number that you're currently seeing on your screen right now. Keep on calling and let us know. Contribute into any discussion that we are having here. Although the question of the day that we have been asking you is, do you think Arsenal will be able to avenge their disastrous 10-2 aggregate loss last season against Bayern Munich when they faced the German machine next week in a pre-season friendly? Well, the two will face off in that particular friendly. Just because Arsenal is not in the Champions League, Steven Arocho, doesn't mean that they get to escape their usual punishers. So how do you see the game going, rather? Let us know and let's check it out.
Kwa majina naitwa Vikitol na mimi kakangemi. So mimi watchingi ball. Hii game ya Bayern na Arsenali na cheki Bayern ikichapa mtu. Kwa sababu ukicheki Bayern ukicheki media Bayern na kwa strong baya sana. So hapo lazima Ribery aingize ndani wakiwa na baba yao.
I'm very sure Arsenal watawachapa. Reason being wame sign new players, and ukiangalia Sanchez, people are thinking that ataenda bado yuko kwa game, contract yake haijaisha na bado is comfortable playing in Arsenal. So looking at the defenders, ukiangalia midfield ya game ya Arsenal compared na Bayern, ukiangalia mbele front, watawachapa.
Mimi George, naona Arsenal ikishinda juu ameleta wase wapya. So chances high ziko high ni Arsenal itashinda.
I think Arsenal will take it.
Naitwa Patrick. Hii game ya Arsenal na Bayern inakuja draw. Inakuja draw hiyo. Hivyo ndio roho yangu inaniambia. Hata kuwekelea nitaekelea hivyo draw.
You know what's actually quite surprising is that Arsene Wenger's new signing has actually revived a lot of hope in the Arsenal fans. As you're seeing there, many would have thought a lot of people will go for a straight Bayern win. Not a lot of the people that we interviewed. Arocho, what do you think?
Well, it reminds me of an Arsenal new signing, Andre Arshavin. When he came in, there was a lot of expectations. Arshavin scored in his very first matches, and every Arsenal fan thought that things were changing. And this is basically what is going to happen this season round. Because yes, Lacazette is a very good player, but he cannot really do it alone. I'm not seeing Arsenal coming off the Bayern fire, because look at what happened in March when Arsenal lost against Bayern Munich. They lost the match squarely. There was no, you couldn't have brought in any other player, any one player to have changed that match. So basically, I'm looking at an Arsenal that is going to lose. They're not going to lose simply because of Lacazette. They're going to lose because of the kind of firepower that comes with the Bayern Munich. You know, Bayern Munich is is a team that really takes pre-season seriously, and you can see that in their previous pre-seasons. And whenever they're playing Arsenal, Bayern Munich doesn't take anything for chance. So that is what they're going to do, and I'm not seeing Arsenal coming off the hook.
Steve, Arocho not expressing too much confidence in Arsenal, despite them doing quite well in their first pre-season game.
I choose not to see this game as a serious match. Not only because it's in pre-season, but because I'm looking at the motives of both managers. Look at Carlo Ancelotti. People might say a lot, but he has really signed so many players, and he's not let go of some of them, and he's also planning to let go of others. So I think this will be testing ground. We've seen James Rodriguez, or you know, we also sit here with James Situma. So, we've seen the likes of Corentin Tolisso.
Yes.
And we've seen very good players.
Steve, you have to call James Situma James next week.
I will not. But anyway, we've seen Niklas Süle, we've seen Sebastian Rudi, people who we saw at the Confederations Cup, and they've all signed for Bayern. These are at least 5 or 6 new players. And what better game than to put them against Arsenal? So I think for me, it will be a feast of the signings. On Wenger's side, we've already seen him play his card against Sydney. He had all his signings out against Sydney and a few academy players, and I think that's the same thing he'll do. So for me, I can't really say that Arsenal or Bayern will win it, but basically, I feel like every time Arsenal faces Bayern in the last 2 or 3 years, Bayern has always had the psychological edge. It's not that Bayern man for man can really trump Arsenal by 100%, but the psychological edge, is it still too soon to forget those 10 goals, or have people sufficiently recovered? Well, there's only one way we can find out.
And we'll find that out next week for sure. Arocho, do you think that Bayern will start a strong 11?
Definitely. Well, look at the kind of preparation Bayern has been having in the last 3 or 4 pre-seasons. Bayern is not a team that takes lightly a pre-season match, and more so when they're playing the likes of Arsenal. And being that Arsenal had a very good outing, as you said, in their first pre-season, it will make it even more serious as far as Bayern Munich is concerned. They really want to, as I said earlier, the pre-seasons is more or less a tournament to mark your territory. And within the German territory, Bayern Munich is a household name. They really would like to do the same in the English, within the English territory, and eventually the European territory. So they're going to put their first foot forward, and basically that means their best 11 in this match.
For sure. So these two teams head to head, of course, a lot of people knowing about their modern day history, and especially more so in the Champions League. They faced off 12 times, Arsenal just winning 3 of those 12 times. 7 times is what Bayern Munich have won, and the two teams have drawn twice. Your analysis of this, Steve?
Well, I think I choose not to see this on the historical precedent, because one team is changing, the other is not. Arsenal has stayed constant for those 12 times, but Bayern has had several coaches, several new teams, several players. When I look at it now, as I said earlier, I look at it as more of a winning or an introduction for the new players, for the new systems. Carlo Ancelotti has successfully used the Christmas tree formation in AC Milan and at Real Madrid. Last season he implemented it in the Bundesliga and won the Bundesliga, but could not win the Champions League. He's bought some players he wants to perfect that formation with. And of course, Arsenal is good enough for position for Bayern to perfect that with. Wenger has been hinting to press for the last 2 or 3 years that he wants to play with 2 strikers up top. And in the last 20 minutes against Sydney FC, it was true. Lacazette played with Giroud on top. So I think he might want to test that full force against Bayern and see if maybe lacking that extra midfield, they'll still soak in the amount of goals that they did still with that extra man in midfield last season.
All right, so there's still, of course, a lot of focus on whether Sanchez is leaving or not. A lot of the people that we interviewed, as you saw, talking about Arsenal's new signing, a lot of the people who are also calling, talking about Lacazette this, Lacazette that. But is he enough to replace Sanchez if and when Sanchez goes? And do you think that this whole thing will actually serve more as a distraction to the actual game, Arocho?
Sanchez and Lacazette are a promising pair. If they are going to play together, then there's a lot of potential in that striking force. But the moment you don't have one of them, then you're going to have a problem because as the philosophy within the Arsenal playing unit is normally a philosophy of a counter-attack. That's the way I look at Arsenal. Arsenal, from time immemorial, Thierry Henrys of this world, they're normally good in counter-attack. And when you have 2 fast players up front, and you're playing a counter-attack kind of football, then you're going to do it, you're going to perform well, rather than the way Arsenal has been doing. Oliver Giroud, yes, he's somehow fast, but you cannot compare him to Sanchez as far as speed is concerned. So I think that has been their main undoing. But now that they're going to have 2 fast players up front there, if in any case they're all still going to be in the team, then Arsenal will have some strength up front. What I'm looking at Arsenal, their main undoing, if in any case the pair up front is going to work, is their defense. If they can keep that defense intact, then you're going to see a very good Arsenal this season.
All right, and Arsenal with 2 strikers up front, we'll see about that. Let's take in a call. Hello? Hi.
Hi.
What's your name? Hello there.
Hello.
All right, let's try getting another call. Hello. Hi, what's your name? Hello? All right, let's quickly just move back. We will be having, rather taking a few more of your calls. Let's just quickly get back to Steve. Steve, a young player impressed me in the Arsenal game against Sydney FC, Rhys Nelson.
Yeah, Rhys Nelson was good playing in a right wing back capacity. Of course, he tired, of course, as the game progressed. Rhys Nelson, when he plays for Arsenal under 23 squad in the English Premier League 2, the reserve league, he usually plays as a right winger. So I think that was an unfamiliar position, but it was very good for him. He marketed himself. He's only 17. Also, Joe Willock was very impressive from the center of midfield. Remember, his brother Chris Willock just signed for Benfica from the Arsenal Academy just 2 weeks ago. So I think it's good. And Wenger has this culture of using young players. Even Edin Ketia, who's played as a wide midfielder. So it's also very promising. And it's also something Ancelotti will probably do at Bayern. Remember, he's still looking for that elusive replacement for Xabi Alonso. He signed Corentin Tolisso, but there are still loads of youngsters who can bridge that gap at Bayern Munich.
The best thing about preseason, as Arocho is has pointed out before, is that it's experimental time. So we'll have a look at that. It's 3.86 with the odds for Arsenal to take it against Bayern Munich. It's 3.71 for a draw between the two teams, and it's 1.75 for FC Bayern to win it. So Arocho, based on this, do you see the Gunners taking it?
No, I'm not seeing them taking it. I'm seeing them losing this match. I'll still go for Bayern to pick the win against Arsenal.
Bayern over Arsenal anytime?
Any day.
What about you, Steve?
I'll play safe and I'll say this game will end in a goal. Because I think I've seen Bayern's firepower. I've seen Arsenal's firepower. They are both capable of scoring. But on the defensive side, Bayern has also struggled. They might not have struggled against Arsenal, but they've struggled defensively, especially against teams that hold possession. And remember, these two sets of players are not still fully fit, so you can't expect Bayern to perform at their 100%. In fact, Arsenal have a slight advantage because they've already played one game and they've gotten to the destination earlier. Bayern are departing still. So I think it's safe to say that it will be a goal.
All right, so Steve going for a goal. We'll see how that game goes, and we will be sure to touch on it in next week's episode. Now, let's get in a few calls. Before we do, kind reminder, please reduce the volume on your TV set before you actually call in. On that note, hello? Hi there.
Silas here.
Yes, hi Titus. Oh, sorry, Cyrus rather. Where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Nairobi.
Yes.
And I would have loved to hear, okay, based on the fact that Alexis Sanchez, I'm an Arsenal fan,
yes,
but based on the fact that Alexis Sanchez is really unsettled, what is the possibility that Arsenal can replace him, and who is the most suitable replacement? Is it Lema, Thomas, or this Mahrez, I mean?
All right. Thanks so much for calling. We'll have a look and just very quickly touch on who would be the best replacement for Sanchez in the case that he leaves the Emirates. Let's get in another call. Hello there.
Hello.
What's your name?
I'm Benson.
Yes, what's your comment or question for us?
Okay, I say,
yes,
I just see that Arsenal cannot beat Bayern at all.
Why?
Because, you know, Arsenal is a team that always are making passes, making funny moves, and Bayern is a team that makes us score. That's only for goals.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Let's take in the last call of the night. Hello? Please reduce the volume on your TV set. All right, guys, just a quick reminder, we will not be able to communicate effectively if the volume on your TV set is as loud as that. I will actually just move on to the next call. We do want to hear from you, though. Let's get in another call. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hi, what's your name?
Hello?
Hello, what's your name? All right, guys, we do have to quickly move back to the conversation. A viewer there calling in wanting to know who would be the best replacement, Steve, for Sanchez in the case that he leaves Arsenal.
How do you replace Alexis Alejandro Sanchez? It's a difficult question, And Wenger is the man tasked with the hard task of getting that answer. We've been linked with the likes of Thomas Lemar. We've been linked even with Musa Sissoko. So I don't know. You know, replacing Sanchez is replacing goals.
Yeah.
So assuming Lacazette is the person being brought to replace goals, then I think that would be an able Sanchez replacement. But in terms of void players who can score, there are fewer who are better than Alexis Sanchez.
I was thinking the same thing, Arocho. I don't know if you agree or disagree, because to me, Lacazette is more of a finisher. He's more of maybe what you'd see back in the day with Manchester United, someone like Ruud van Nistelrooy. But the thing with Alexis Sanchez is he's much more creative and over a much larger surface area, say, as opposed to maybe someone like Lacazette. What do you think?
Yes, for me, Lacazette reminds me of Dimitar Berbatov. He was not really quite mobile in the pitch. He was not quite fluid with the ball, but you could realize that he was there when the goal was coming, and he was the one to score. But going back to your initial question of who is going to replace Sanchez, in any case he's leaving Arsenal, I don't think there is any replacement, because if you ask me, the likes of Thierry Henry, we've never had a replacement of Henry in Arsenal, and that's why you've seen Arsenal really struggling season in, season out, because of the kind of material that comes in. So I'll differ with my colleague here. I'll say that there's no replacement for Sanchez, because look at the way Sanchez plays his game. Sanchez is a player that when he's not getting the ball up front, he'll come into the midfield or even into his own defense line to try and pick that ball and try and get his move through a counter attack. So basically, he's a player that is quite instrumental. He is a leader. He is a very he pushes the team when the team is down. He lifts the team when the team is down. So he's a player that I don't think the kind of material that I'm seeing within Arsenal, I'm not seeing any player that will replace him.
All right. Wow, very powerful statements from my pundits here, saying that there's no able replacement actually for Alexis Sanchez. I like what Steve has said as well. Taking away Sanchez is taking away goals, so we'll see about that. But let's actually move from the international scene and let's move things back home, because we're quite excited. The Sport Pesa Premier League is starting tomorrow right here on the home of true fans. It will be a double header, as you're currently seeing. Nakumatt FC taking on Ulinzi at 2 p.m. That will be at Ruaraka. Very quickly followed by Mathare United, the Slum Boys, at 4:15 p.m. taking on Sony Sugar. So do you really need anything else for a perfect weekend? I think not. So be sure to join us tomorrow starting at 2 p.m. but with a build-up prior to that from around 1:45 p.m. That will be a pitch side build-up with my colleague Nick Mudimba, who will be on location, and we will bring you a cracker of an afternoon. That wraps it up for us here in studio. Join us again next week, same time, same place. Good evening, good night, and may the odds be forever in your favor.